Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
What was wrong with the brunch invitations?
She wasn't supposed to go print it.
I'm not talking about printing now. Human robot, work with me. In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. You want him to pay $628?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knock my socks off. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. The law talks about something may in fact be true, but can they prove it? And that's what's tough.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Cynthia Cantwell claims her dog needed emergency surgery after he was injured while in the defendant's care. Ms. Cantwell is suing Emma Gallagher in the amount of $2,533. Ms. Gallagher claims she followed Ms. Cantwell's instructions while house-sitting and says she's not responsible for the plaintiff's vet bills.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties been sworn, Your Honor.
Third, get up at the Thomas. Mrs. Cantwell, let's talk about this $2,533. Why are you entitled to that?
Well, Your Honor, I hired Emma to come and dog sit and house sit for me. She said she was more than qualified to do that.
What type of dog are we talking about?
A Chihuahua. His name's Rocco. I have a picture if you'd like to see.
Rocco. I'll take a look at the picture of Rocco, the Chihuahua.
Thank you, sir.
And how long have you had the dog?
4 years, sir.
What type of dog is Rocco? Very cute, very cute, very cute. All right. And how would you describe Rocco with respect to his temperament and interactions with people that he doesn't necessarily know, et cetera?
Well, he's a typical Chihuahua in the fact that he's quite energetic, likes to jump up on things, run around, but he's actually very friendly with other people, unlike other
You've had
Chihuahuas.
Rocco since he was a pup?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Gallagher, let's talk about you. Are you, is this what you do for a profession?
Not entirely.
Okay.
Right now, I'm just in between jobs, looking for the next.
And part of your in-between status is caring for other people's pets?
Yes,
All
and
right.
their home.
And their home?
Yes.
Was that something that you did in addition
Yes.
to watching the dog?
Yes,
You
Your
were
Honor.
also house sitting?
Yes, Your Honor.
And was that the deal?
Yes.
Okay. And you said, I will do that
Yes.
for the low, low price of?
$500.
$500, all
for
right.
5 days.
Your issue was regarding Rocco.
That's correct. When I came home,
Yes, ma'am.
he was excited to see me. I was expecting a little bit more excitement from him. And, you know, I paid her the $500 and sat down on the couch, and he just kind of curled up next to my foot and wasn't very animated, wouldn't eat any food, just seemed super lethargic, and started to make this whimpering noise. So I took him to the vet, and they ended up x-raying, and they saw that something was inside. They weren't sure what it was at the time.
Yes.
And they went ahead and did an emergency surgery to retrieve it out of his stomach.
And it was what?
It was jewelry. I have
Jewelry in the stomach of the dog?
And I have a picture here. I actually have the jewelry that the vet retrieved.
Oh, that's nasty. All right, but I mean, no.
I'll keep it in the plastic bag. Thank you, sir. And it is
Well,
Emma's
at least
jewelry.
you put it in plastic. Thank you. I appreciate
yes,
that.
and this is the bill. Thank you. This is the bill for the vet.
All right, ma'am.
Here you go.
Oh, lucky me, huh? And the jewelry is some sort of necklace, or is it
It's a bracelet and an earring. He's a very small dog, so he must have eaten these in 2 different sittings, which means that multiple jewelry was left out, and she didn't notice.
And
Actually, I didn't.
whose jewelry would this be? I don't
It's
know.
Emma's.
Pick me. I know the answer.
It's mine.
It's yours.
Yes, it is.
Ah.
Yes.
You didn't notice your jewelry missing?
I didn't notice until she gave me a call. Actually, the reason that I had jewelry up on the vanity and not on the floor was because I run an Instagram account where I make money off of selling jewelry. And so when I went home, the next day I get a call from her about the jewelry, and I checked my inventory. And
Well, hold on a moment. You're giving me a lot of
Sorry.
information. I'm taking it. That's okay. I'm quick, just not that quick.
Sorry.
So you had several pieces of jewelry.
Yes.
That you were, what, I take it, photographing and describing
Yes.
and trying to make those
Yes.
sales happen.
Yes, Your Honor.
How much jewelry are we talking about that you brought?
About 20 pieces.
All right. You mentioned something to the effect of a vanity. So given that you're at a desk right now,
Oh, yes.
Is it the same height of that desk, or is it higher or lower?
It's probably about this, like right here, where the end of this.
Did you see the dog have the capability of jumping that high up? Because that's pretty high off the ground. Because it's at least by at least 3 feet if you add the additional.
I didn't see the dog jump.
Was there any sort of chair or other items that that a dog conceivably could leverage and jump here and then there?
The vanity is a little bit, like maybe 2 feet away from the bed, so I don't know if like he jumped on the bed and then onto the vanity.
Your Honor, there's a chair right there. I use it to put makeup on.
Coming up on America's Court.
Well, she didn't tell me about that until I called her after the vet appointment. No, yes, it is true. You said he was feeling a little lethargic.
When you came in,
that he hadn't been eating, that he wasn't enjoying his walks.
And later.
Mr. Clemens didn't compensate her because?
Well, I'm actually Seabot the robot. You want to see some more?
No.
Closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Cynthia Cantwell, who is suing Emma Gallagher for negligence.
Does Miss Gallagher's explanation make sense to you? That the dog would find itself gravitating towards an item that the dog didn't know what it was, but would have the ability to access that item?
It makes sense that he would be able to access the item. He can definitely jump a couple feet onto a chair and onto a desk from there. I did specifically ask her not to leave things out on the floor.
You did? Do you recall a conversation, Ms. Gallagher, about not leaving things on the floor?
Yes.
All right. You were very specific about don't leave anything on the floor.
Yes, Your Honor.
So the dog can access it.
That's correct.
All right. In order to prove negligence, you have to establish that the other person failed to exercise reasonable care.
And
you follow me?
I believe that she did that when she noticed that he'd been not feeling well for 2 days, had been lying around the house, and did not contact me.
Let's take a step back. What I have to determine is, with the average person in that situation, would they have known not to leave that on that vanity?
But we only have her word that it was left on the vanity. She also didn't contact me for 2 days while my dog was lying around showing signs of sickness.
You're absolutely right. We only have her word. But you bear the burden of proving to the court.
But at the same time, the vet said if he had been brought in right away when he started feeling sick, they could have just pumped his stomach.
We have two issues, though.
Right.
One, the vet's not here.
Right.
So now what you're saying is, trust me when I tell you what the vet said. But I don't have the vet here to ask him, is that what you said? Did she interpret it wrong?
Right.
So what you're giving me is hearsay. Now, I allow hearsay just to give me context. But you're hanging your hat on the vet said that. I don't even know who the vet is or when you went and saw the vet.
Well, the vet, it's on the piece of paper that I sent you. It has the date, it has the vet, everything.
Okay. What this piece of paper tells me is the bill.
Well, and the date.
You understand what I'm saying? The date, there's no disputing the date because you said as soon as you came home, there was some issue.
Well, all I know is that I paid for her to give my dog care. She said she was more than qualified to do that. My dog was sick for several days before I came home.
How do you know it was several days?
She told me that after I called her and said, hey.
I told her the minute she walked into the door after she returned, I told her that her dog had been feeling a little lethargic for the past 2 days, but I thought it was because he missed her. And she observed her dog and observed the property and found that it was fine enough to give me $500.
Here's what's interesting about what she said. When the dog first came home, you were like, the dog didn't really miss me, or, you know, the dog wasn't really interacting.
He was less exuberant than usual,
right.
But...
Because, so what she's saying, if she doesn't know the dog, she just met the dog for the first time, she doesn't know if the dog missed you, and because sometimes dogs have a reaction when their owners aren't there. But they have a difference in their personality.
But for 5 days, he was a normal dog being walked 3 times a day, eating all of his food twice a day, and for a couple of days, he doesn't eat his food
because she told
me, and she noticed the difference.
Here's what's happening. You want to pick and choose what is believable in her testimony. You want to acknowledge that she's telling the truth about these things, but not about the vanity.
Well, she didn't tell me about that until I called her after the vet appointment.
That's
no,
not
yes,
true
it
at all.
is true. You
She
said he
didn't
was
tell you
feeling a
what?
little lethargic.
When you
that
came in
that he
the
hadn't
door.
been eating,
Okay.
that he wasn't enjoying his walks. If she had told me that when it was happening, which, you know, I specifically said before I left, hey, like, if anything happens, if he's sick or whatever, here's my vet number, call me.
Let's say she told you that. Then what?
Then I would have had her take him to the vet. He would have had his stomach pumped instead of having an open stomach surgery.
You would have automatically said, just take him to the vet. There's something
I would have
wrong
been
with
worried. He's my baby. I would have been worried about him, and I wasn't there to make a judgment call, so safety first.
The issue is, by that point, he had already swallowed the jewelry. He went to the vet. Is he fine now?
Not really. I mean,
But you're
he's
not
better,
suing for
he
anything
survived.
other than the cost of the vet bill.
I'm sorry, one more time.
You're suing for the vet bill.
The vet bill and the damages.
Right.
I was up
so
for 4 nights straight
had she taken
with
him
this.
immediately, you still would have had that vet bill.
It would have been a lot less because they would have had to just pump his stomach instead of doing an open surgery.
Based on what?
Based on the digestive system. He swallowed it, and it got more into his system as the time went on.
Here's where we are. Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel must come down in favor of the defendant. Fortunately, the dog was able to not suffer any damage that we know of up to this point other than recuperating. But again, you can't overcome that burden of would the reasonable person in her situation feel comfortable enough to leave jewelry on a vanity.
But wouldn't a person reasonably feel
No, we're
like
not
they should
having a
contact
dialogue
me?
right now.
I'm sorry.
What I'm saying, but you're being mom. You're being mom to Rocco.
Yeah.
I get it. And I'm not minimizing that. I'm just saying it's not based on you.
Right.
It's based on what the average person would do in that situation. Would the average person think that this little dog is going to be able to jump up here and get this? I have to conclude they would not. Your matter's dismissed. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
I'm just happy that justice was served, and I wish Rocco the best.
I'm really disappointed in the judge's decision, but I could see he was trying to be really fair, and he understood how much my dog means to me.
And coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
What was wrong with the brunch invitations?
She wasn't supposed to go print it.
I'm not talking about printing them. Work with me.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Lisa Brady claims she designed promotional materials for her ex and says he refuses to pay her for the work. Ms. Brady is suing Charlie Clemens in the amount of $563. Mr. Clemens claims he didn't give Ms. Brady the go-ahead to print the items and says he shouldn't have to pay for work he didn't approve.
So, Ms. Brady, you were not paid by Mr. Clemens.
That is correct.
Mr. Clemens, she did work for you, but you didn't compensate her because?
Well, I'm actually Seabot the robot. You want to see some more?
No. I'm good, sir. I'm good. Why did you choose Miss Brady?
Well, we worked together for, we did event planning, actually, before.
You all had a pre-existing relationship?
Yes.
Yeah, we dated a little bit too.
Oh, no, okay.
A little bit, you
It's a
know.
little
Yeah,
interesting
no,
here.
exactly.
Okay.
But we were, you know,
But you kept the
even after
relationship.
that, we worked together. We was like, okay, forget the
And you guys were
relationship.
cool with each other?
Yeah, we was cool.
Yes.
We was cool.
And this work that you do in terms of the graphic design, is that something you do full-time? Or
No, not at all. I just do that on my spare time.
what exactly were you giving him in exchange for this money?
I was supposed to create a logo for him,
Okay.
and I was supposed to design some promotional materials for him. Some
Okay.
business cards, flyers, invitation, which I did.
And this is for his roboting?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Anytime there's an opportunity to perform, why not? You got a national audience as we speak. I got you.
See why we're not together no more? It's too much.
It's too much.
Too much.
You loved it.
Coming up on America's Court.
I'm dealing with him over these next few minutes, and I see the situation. You knew the situation. Why would you agree to do this?
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Lisa Brady, who is suing Charlie Clemens for non-payment of services.
Where did the disagreements start?
So look, the disagreement came to, She was supposed to go print. She was supposed to go find this the print place, and she insisted on going to print stuff out.
That is not true.
And the business cards.
Well, wait a minute. Let's take first things first. You told her go find a printer.
Yes, to go find.
What do you recall him saying?
For me, he said, print it.
Print it. When you say go find a printer, and she goes, okay, I'll just get it printed.
No, to go find it first and then come to me. But she went to find it and print it.
Okay.
As well, but we didn't agree on that.
But once she told you this is the printer, what were you going to do that she couldn't do?
She just told me to go find. She said she was going to go find it. I didn't tell her to print anything yet.
All right. But you okayed the information that was going to be printed.
I told her to go print it, yes.
Okay.
You are contradicting yourself.
A year was too long.
Exactly, it was.
Yeah, it was. But I'm dealing with him over these next few minutes, and I see the situation, right?
Yeah.
You knew the situation, and you were in it for a year, and you've known him all. Why would you agree to do this?
Well, this is my friend. We are still friends. And I believe in him, so I thought I would help him.
Right. You charged him $20 an hour.
Yes, correct.
For 2 hours of the poster, which is $40. Why aren't you paying her that?
Because of what she did with the business cards.
I'm talking about the poster. Why did you not pay her for the poster?
Because I was mad about the business cards.
Okay.
It's just cheap. It's just cheap.
I'm not cheap.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
Other than you being mad about the business cards, it sounds like there's no reason not to pay for the poster, which means you are paying for that poster. That we know. What was wrong with the brunch invitations?
The brunch, she wasn't supposed to go print it.
I'm not talking about printing them. Human robot, work with me. And when you don't answer my question, you answer it, which means that's another $40 for the invitations pertaining to the brunch. Do you have anything, an email, any documentation, any saying, I approve of how this looks?
Unfortunately, we just had a verbal agreement.
All right, so the bottom line is, because I don't have proof that he ever signed off on it, that hurts you, ma'am. And then the other cost is the interest.
Yes, because I've been waiting for a month for him to pay me.
Is it reasonable to charge him for having to wait? I'm okay with that in this particular case.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? I think we're good here. 1:30 is your judgment. We're done, case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $130.
I am not happy that the judge only gave me $130. So now I will know for the future that I cannot mix pleasure and business.
My business cards are still incorrect, and I should have made the point to the judge.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.